I'm in Salad, and I saw The Batman. It's directed by Matt Reeves, and it's starring Robert Pattinson. I'm in this alley in Gotham. There's a lot of chaos going on. It's quite wild. This movie starts with some guy getting murdered, some official guy. Then Batman teams up with the policemen to figure out what is going on, who's doing the murders. While they're at the crime scene, this police officer is like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. You're a vigilante." And guess who gets murdered next? Wow. And guess who gets murdered next? It's that police guy. Batman was only brought in the investigation originally because the Riddler, which we soon find out, is leaving notes for Batman. One of these notes, the first one of the riddles says, "What do you get? A liar who's dead." Something like that. He lies still. And he has duct tape on his face that says "no more lies," so you can assume this guy's a liar. Riddler's trying to teach us something about these officials. After the police officer is killed, the next piece of the puzzle comes from the second note. And it's all these little symbols. There was a couple of the symbols on the first note, so Alfred kind of snoops his way through Bruce's mail and decides to help him decode what is going on using the symbols in the first note. And he figures it out. It says drive. And one of the criminals, one of their thumbs was missing. Later on, we find this thumb drive because we find it in a car and there's a thumb attached to it. Thumb drive. When I first heard that pun, I was losing my shit. I was like, oh my god, that's genius. I love this. I love this movie so much. In that thumbnail, in that thumb drive, there are a bunch of photos of the Penguin with this blonde chick. And Batman doesn't know who this blonde chick is. So he goes to the Penguin to find out. But guess who's there? There's another chick, not blonde, but she's friends with the blonde chick. So Batman decides to follow her home and wants to know where this blonde chick is. We get to see this blonde chick. But we also get to see this not blonde chick leaving the house. And we get to see her as Catwoman. And while I was watching the scene, I was like, whoa, holy shit, I love it. This is so much not like, this is so great. I don't have to have the fact that she's Catwoman pointed out to me in my face. I just get to see it naturally. And Batman stalking a woman? Who knew this would happen in this movie? Batman talks to her a little bit, gets her to help him talk to Penguin and go to that little bar area that she works at, that all these mob people operate, called the Iceberg Lounge. She goes in, she recognizes a few faces, a couple of DA men, because that's what Batman wanted to figure out, if there was any rats in the police unit. in the police unit. That was a couple of the clues that the Riddler was giving away, especially during his little live streams that he likes to throw. He sure loves attention. Another note on Riddler's design, though, I love his glasses. Just the fact that he wears his glasses above his mask. The glasses are definitely more iconic than his face, for sure. Like, if I was to wear glasses, like if I were to identify someone, it would be more by what glasses they wear than their actual face. And I love how this little quirk of his, and I love how this little quirky thing that he wears appears later and it helps us know who the Riddler is. But more on that later. Back to Selina. That's her name, by the way. Bruce Wayne is a big old detective and figured it out by looking at all of her personal data strewn across her apartment. So, Bruce talks to Selina, questions her about this one relationship that she had. Were you ever with that guy? And then she freaks the fuck out and takes her eye contact lens out, which is a recording camera, which is really cool. I like it. That's the kind of tech that only money can get you. Jump to Bruce is at a funeral for his old co-worker. Jump to the future, where you got Bruce is at a funeral for one of the cops that died because of Riddler. And it's all sad and peaceful until this one crazy car comes in, crashes through the building, and doesn't stop until he hits one of those wooden poles, and then comes out and there's this bomb on his neck. And there's only one way to stop it. He has to call the Riddler. So Batman calls the Riddler. And the Riddler asks him a bunch of questions to ask the police guy. Typical questions like, who you working for? What is this? What is that? I forgot the exact questions, but I remember the last question, he refused the answer because it would give away the name of a very important informant guy. And he blows up because of it. And Bruce feels bad. But it was also the guy's decision. Batman and the rest of the cops think, oh, it's the Penguin. The Penguin's the guy. He's the informant. But it's not. And the informant has time to escape. What's also sad about this is Selina discovers her friend's body in the back of a truck with a bunch of money, mind you. She eventually gets to steal one bag of money, which is good on her. She scored a little bit, even if she did lose a good friend of hers. As I recall the scenes, every scene just hits me like a truck, and how good it was. Man, the directing and the composition And the cinematography and the dialogue is so brilliant in this movie. I don't understand anyone who complains about this movie. This seems very intentional. There is another clue for Batman, and it's about, hey, you got the sins of your father you gotta deal with. There's something wrong. And Bruce figures out, oh, this guy is an orphan, because he told me he was an orphan. Let me go to the orphanage that my dad used to own, and how it looks like shit. And of course, if this orphan were to live in these conditions, I would understand why he'd be angry too. This is an angry motherfucker. He saw you as an orphan, looked at all the money that you had, and got jealous. I empathize with the guy. However, he should have not started killing people for it. The Riddler uses Batman going to the Wayne orphanage as a distraction to start fucking with Alfred. Alfred gets this letter, opens it. The note is fireproof. I originally thought it was a space blanket. I was like, huh, how nice. He's providing him a space blanket, which is fireproof naturally. But no, it was just the pouch. And then a bomb, kablowies, fucks up Alfred, fucks up the house. Glad no one else got hurt. I'm glad Alfred didn't die, but that was crazy. Now Bruce is absolutely pissed. If he wasn't pissed before, he is definitely pissed now. He messed with someone personal to him. He has to seek revenge. Back to the sins of the father part, Bruce Wayne thought, oh, my dad's peachy cream. But it turns out, he got this journalist guy assassinated. He confronts Alfred with it. Once he wakes up after being in a coma, nothing like, oh, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I miss you. I'm glad you're not dead. He starts off with, you lied to me. And it's like, dude, that's like the most teenagey, emo shit you could say at all. You're not even considering his perspective, the fact that he's hurting right now, that he just got blown up because of your dumb ass. Chill out, man. Alfred tries to tell him the truth, and the truth is, he wanted, and the truth is, his father wanted to shut this one journalist up, and the truth is, his father wanted to shut one of these journalists up, so he paid a guy to do whatever, I guess, and the guy killed him. And he didn't want the guy dead, that's what happened. And now he's guilty about it, and didn't tell Bruce about it, obviously. Why would you tell your son that? This is also when Selina tells Batman that, hey, one of the top guys that's also an informant, he's my dad. And that makes things a lot more complicated. Selina also says that her father killed her best friend, and that she's now wanting to kill her father, and she goes to do that without anyone knowing. However, Batman's here to stop her from doing that, because that is not okay. Do not murder, death, kill people, please. But he's a little bit too late because the Riddler does so. He murder, death, kills him before Selina could do it. I mean, honestly, Selina should be thanking him. That is what she sought out to do. The Riddler gets caught, but he's very smiley about it. Like he's got something up his sleeve. What are you thinking there, Riddler? So Batman also's got this weird feeling about Riddler that he did something, like something's about to happen. And it just so happens that Riddler is Batman's biggest fan. Bruce Wayne specifically. When I was going through that scene, the way that he said Bruce and the way that Bruce reacted, I was like, the Riddler knows who he is. But reading other people's analysis on the scene, they're like, he doesn't know. So I'm not exactly sure if he knows if that's Bruce or not. But he's a huge ass fan and he thinks that Batman and himself are in this plan together. And he says we a lot. And Batman's like, there is no we, there's only you. And he cries in his cell. He's a very big crier. But there's one more thing that he's brewing, and you know what it is? A bunch of these bombs, 7 bombs specifically, are set up next. Oh, I thought there was a possum there. There's a possum that lives under our porch. And there are these 7 bombs stationed next to all these water treatment plants that go off and flood the entire city. And I'm like, oh shit, there's just disaster everywhere and Batman doesn't know what to do. And he sees that all these people that were working for the Riddler were using his catchphrase, I am vengeance, against him. So what does he decide to do? He decides to become a symbol of hope. And he changes. And Riddler, a couple months later, you can see him crying in a cell. This didn't go the way that I wanted it to. No, oh no. But he makes a new friend. And I theorize it's the Joker. It's setting us up for a new sequel that I'm really excited to see. I really want to see this movie now. And then that's the end of the movie. There's a lot of good jokes that I didn't cover specifically. The cinematography is great. I love the coloring. The coloring is excellent. Holy shit. It just makes me want to come. I love the use of red and the colors of the sky, and it's so good. The writing is great. I hear a lot of complaints about how the jokes are too simple. But I don't care. I like that the jokes are too simple. It's so I can understand it. I didn't even get the joke, he lies still, until it was told to me. And I was like, oh wait, I didn't even notice that. I wasn't even thinking about that. But thank you for giving me the answer, movie. Sometimes jokes are just supposed to be simple for simple people to understand it. I also love Selina's costume. They gave her that big booba attire, which is perfect. I'm doing an okay sign. And for that, I must give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is a great movie. I highly recommend you see it. Check out patreon.com/ASEpresents. $3 a month for daily vlogs. I also have commissions open right now. So if you want an art commission or an animation or something like that, check out my Twitter or Instagram at itsmintsalad. DM's always open. Now, to go fight crime.
Come hither. What the fuck are you supposed to be? I'm Batman. You're what? I'm Batman. You're huh? I'm Batman!